We heard that in the future patch there would be some kind of grenade that would disable any and all siege weapons when thrown. How far is the reach of this new item, and will it do friendly fire as well?
It will definitely not be friendly fire. I believe the range is 1,200 units. So it's a decent range. It's certainly not, say, across a whole map, but it's something that it'll be strategic use. Certainly to run out into a field and use it, you'd be putting yourself at risk, but it may be worth the payoff. I personally have thought of doing that instead of running out and dying to try and do damage to a catapult that's trying to take down a wall, so I'm excited about it. But we'll also be showing more of that in the demo so you can see a little bit more of it.
Will we be seeing underwater content making a comeback to PvP or in general to World versus World and PvE?
Not really. The biggest issue is that underwater combat is something that requires a lot of skill, and our system just requires a lot. You need to be very, very cognizant of everything that's going on in underwater combat. We felt like for PvP, it just wasn't. For the majority of players, it was just too confusing. So that's the reason that we pulled it out of PvP. For World vs. World, it's a little bit of a different story. That's more of a question of, if we were to, say, do additional maps or make other changes to the maps that we have in place, I wouldn't say that we would categorically say, no, there won't be underwater. It'll be very much a case of, is this a map that it feels like underwater makes sense? Is it a place where there's a good reason to have water there? So it's definitely not, completely off the table for World versus World, but we don't right now have plans to, say, like, add a giant lake back or turn everything into an ocean or anything crazy like that.
And are we going to see more underwater content come to PvE?
It's kind of the same answer. I mean, honestly, it's very much a map-by-map basis. So, you look at Dry Top, not particularly well-suited to underwater combat. But that being said, if future Living World updates took us into more of, like the Asura territory or even, areas out like Blood-Tide Coast or some of that, then it's absolutely possible that we would do more underwater combat. So it's not, it's not a system that we're saying like, no more underwater ever. But, it's very much what makes sense with the content that we're building.
What can we expect to see coming for World vs. World in both the short and long run? We've seen that commanders will be adjusted with new color and such, but is there more?
Yeah, so that's another thing we'll be showing in the demo. So we're adding multiple colors to the commander system. The commander system is moving to an account-based system as opposed to a character-based system. The siege disabling trick that we're going to be showing, I think it's something that's going to have a lot of knock-on effects. So, it's a small thing. It's one item that we're introducing, but we expect it's going to introduce a pretty broad tactical shift to the game. So in terms of kind of making multiple changes, we're more focused on making a change like that and seeing how things shake out before we make additional changes because, for example, people have asked a lot about, hey, can we make empower defenders more, find better ways to make defense stronger, and we think that that trick is going to have that effect. So we don't want to do too many things at once and have, kind of unintended consequences. So, long term, we're going to continue to evaluate the way that the tactics shift and make changes that we feel like are appropriate for the direction of the long term of the game.
Recently, you've again pointed out that you're working on different types of structured PvP next to the current Conquest system. Which systems are you currently trying out, and what can you tell us about the process behind working on these new systems?
I can't give really any details on the specifics of the mode that we're working on right now, but I can explain a little bit of the process quickly. So basically what we do is we start brainstorming an idea for the baseline of, okay, what sounds like a cool PvP mode, something that'd be good for our game. So we get to a very basic level of a map and just start playing through with the bare bones mechanics. And we play a few times. We say, okay, does this feel like it's fun? Does it feel like it's heading in the right direction? Or does it feel like we're kind of just coming up with stuff and it's not working? So for the current mode, which is a lot of fun, we've made a lot of progress on. We've been through multiple iterations of it. We've been through multiple versions of the map. We've made very significant changes from the first version of what we thought was going to be fun to the version that we have now, which is a lot of fun. It's a constant, yeah, and it's definitely different than Conquest. It is not capture point based. It is different, and that's really as far as I'm going to go details wise. But the process is very heavy on the iteration side, and we talk about iteration a lot, but for PvP game modes, it's very, very important because there are a number of kinds of changes that you can make that can make it better or worse. So we just try and really rapidly move through those things and until we find that sweet spot.